Sometimes you need a couple step backwards in order to make one forward, or was it one step backward and two forward? I mean, yeah, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes in life you get to a plateau, and the only way to move forward is to just stop this constant content churning inferno that we've created for ourselves and reassess for a second. And my assessment is that I know all about the SP404MKII. Sure, I make videos about it, but I don't feel like I'm an expert. And so I decided to do something drastic, something crazy that's never been done before in this whole synthfluencer YouTube sphere. I've read the manual. Crazy, I know, right? But let me show you what I learned, because it's definitely worth it. So one thing that I've always missed on the SP404MKII is the lack of advanced sound design tools, namely, assignable envelopes and assignable LFOs. So just for context, most software and hardware synths actually have multiple envelopes and LFOs, and sometimes they are hard or soft coded to something like a filter cutoff, or maybe an amp envelope, or maybe the pitch. But some other times you can actually freely assign them to whatever you want. It may even be like an effects parameter, like, I don't know, the depth of a chorus or something. And the SP404, despite having a gazillion cool effects, doesn't have an LFO section, and the envelope is just one, and it's on the volume of the sample, and it's pretty basic. And so I thought that, this lack of envelopes and LFO really hampered my sound design abilities on this machine, which is kind of a bummer, especially when working on synth type sounds like basses or leads. But then it dawned on me, when talking about the SP404, the effects section is the sound design section, if that makes sense. So I decided to dig deeper, and here's what I found. Let's start with Toguro. The manual says that this gives the sound an undulating effect based on the image of a coiled up snake. That means nothing. What it really is a descending sawtooth LFO which affects the pitch, the filter cutoff, and the amplitude of your sound. You can decide how much this LFO will affect these three parameters, and you can synchronize it to the main BPM. So this sample is just a long bass note with no filters applied, nor effects. For now, I'm turning the depth to 0, which means that the LFO won't affect my pitch. Now I'm gonna turn the FLT mod knob to adjust my filter, and I'm gonna turn the amp modulation up as well. And I'm gonna make sure that the sync is on and adjust my rate to 1/16. And what we have now, instead of a long, boring note, it's a plucky, transienty bass sound, which is a bit more interesting. We can make this even more interesting by resampling it. I'm gonna cut it, and now I'm gonna press reverse to play it back in reverse. And so now we have this cool kind of wobble bass sound, which is great because I'm working on this nice bass house tune. By the way, some of the drum samples that I'm using in this beat are part of my Big Umami Bombed sample pack, which you can find on bigumami.com. So go and check that out, pretty please. Now let's just say, instead of a bass note, I'm gonna use a long, high-pitched note, and I'm gonna start messing with that. This time I'll turn the depth all the way up. Also, I'm gonna adjust the rate to 2 bars. Now we get this long falling down type sound, which is great. You might ask, why would I want this type of sound in my beat? Well, you don't. But again, if we resample this and then reverse it, you might end up with a cool riser effect, which is actually very useful. So let's do just that. Okay, resample. Make sure that it's cut properly. Reverse it. Boom, that's great. And once you've got this sound, you can definitely stack some more sounds to it, and you can resample it, and you can add some more effects, which is a great segue into my next effect, tremolo and pan. This is great because you're not limited to just one LFO shape. You have triangle, square, sine, so up, so down, and trapezoidberg. I know. I'm funny. You can only affect either the volume when the type is on tray and the pan when the type is on pan. The difference is that Tremolo will affect your volume, but it won't open up your stereo image, and pan will affect your volume, but it will spread it out over, you know, the left and the right channel. So it's kind of an auto pan effect. Anyway, I'm gonna choose to be boring, and I'm gonna choose sine wave, turn the sync off, and I'm gonna choose type pan. I've created a pattern with the note riser and added some white noise to it as well. Now I'm gonna press resample, let the pattern play, and move the depth knob as well as the rate knob. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I know that these two effects don't really cover for the lack of assignable envelopes and LFOs on this machine, but I was pleasantly surprised to see that they work really well on some sounds. Before we close today's episode, there are a couple of more notable effects, namely the SuperFilter. This is a very resonant filter with an LFO which is syncable to the main BPM, but the LFO shape is fixed, and I think it's a sine wave. I don't think it's written anywhere on the manual, but it sounds like a sine wave to me. Maybe it's a triangle, I don't know, I'm not really sure. And this effect can also give you some nice wobbly sounds like these. Vibrato. Vibrato is what happens when an LFO modulates the pitch, and we don't have that on the SP404MKII. But we do have vinyl simulation and cassette simulation, and there is a flutter knob on them, and that pretty much is a vibrato. You can't really control the speed or anything, you just control the, you know, depth knob up and see if it sounds right for you. But yeah, that's a notable mention as well. So, what do you think? Is it reasonable to ask Roland to give us some assignable envelopes and LFOs? They've been really good since the release of the SP404MKII. They've given us pretty much everything we asked them, and that might be a great addition to this already incredible machine. But I don't know, either way, I'm impressed with the Toguro. I've never used it before. The name sounded exotic, so I was like, yeah, I don't know, let's see what it does. But I didn't really, you know, sit down and fiddle with it all that much. But it's great, as you can see from this video. Anyway, that's enough for today. Please like and subscribe, and go to my website bigomami.com for those sweet sample packs that you can all download and enjoy with your samplers. And yeah, I love you very much, and see you soon. Yeah, bye.